with the Radical Therapy Center in West Philadelphia. So that is...
Born and raised. Okay, sorry. I'm just... Don't mind me.
Now that you've said it once, you're no longer allowed to say it.
Okay. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel where we are fostering brilliance and perseverance every single day. I'm so excited for this special because we are going to talk to one of my really good friends, Marvin, who is one of the co-founders of Melanated Social Work. If you haven't found out about it, check it out on Instagram. Super excited about it. So we're gonna learn about his journey on going through grad school and really getting to the point where he is a bona fide social worker and creating a really great platform that's just like really needed for right now. So without further ado, I want to welcome Marvin to the channel. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Hopefully I can say some things that'll be helpful to some of your viewers.
I've been doing a lot of videos on the GRE and meeting so many really cool people who are interested in going to grad school. So I decided that I'm going to start talking to more people who went through grad school and helping them understand just what a path could look like. Because I think my favorite thing about life is that there's more than one way to get to your destination.
Absolutely.
And I really don't want people to feel pressure on, mimicking this standard way that a textbook tells you to go through. Yeah. So I just kind of want to learn a little bit more about you and your path and your journey.
Yeah. So again, my name is Marvin. I am 1/4 of founders of Melanated Social Work. I graduated from San Diego State University. I'm from the Bay Area, born and raised. Bay Area, stand up. Hey. Majored in communication, minored in sociology. At that time, the job market was awful, and I had no idea what I wanted to do after graduation.
Force them out for 2010.
Yeah. For all my homies. But so I knew I wanted to do something. I thought about Peace Corps. I ended up doing AmeriCorps because I wanted to stay here in the States. And so I applied to City Year in Miami, Florida, and I served 2 years. And for folks that don't know, City Year is a national nonprofit. It brings together 18 to 24-year-olds for a full year of service. So they work in the worst school districts and schools in a city. And they go in and do work with the students, with the faculty, and just try to help them make gains educationally.
Wow.
So it's a really cool program. So I did that for 2 years. Realized that students were dealing with a lot more outside of the classroom that impacted their behaviors, their educational success inside the classrooms. And so after that, I kind of was like, okay, because I thought I wanted to be a teacher, but then I was just like, okay, maybe I need to be a little bit more involved. I graduated from City Year, went back to Oakland, served with worked at Job Corps, which is another program that basically helps adults and youth to get their high school diplomas, help them learn a trade, and then help them actually to get a job. It's a really cool program.
Wow.
But similarly, they had a lot of trauma in their lives. And so again, I was wanting to be more helpful than just getting them into the program.
You're noticing like a pattern at this point.
Right. That had nothing to do with their will to want to succeed. It had nothing to do with them as people. It's just there were barriers that for some reason they were kind of dealing with things that didn't make it possible for them to be as successful as they could have been. During that time, we had managers switch. And so we had a new manager over the Northern California region, and she was not the best. And so I kind of thought to myself, listen, I need to get a master's degree because I need to be in charge, because I know I can do a much better job than what she did. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to apply.
That's crazy because I've had a similar situation where it's just okay, well, if they can do it, then why not me?
Right. Why not? So I applied to Boston College. Boston College specifically because City Year also has what they call the Give a Year partnership. And so for a year of service, they'll give you a scholarship for a certain amount of money in certain fields. So social work was one of those fields, and I said, let's do it. On top of the education award, you get $5,500 toward your tuition, toward whatever you want, as well as that Give a Year scholarship. So
wow.
Well, I was like, well, that's cool.
Yeah, money. And if you're interested in City Year, I'll make sure to put the link down below for more information on how to apply.
And there are locations all over the country as well. So,
sweet.
Yeah. So I applied, got in to Boston College, and that experience was fantastic. I met the other 3 guys from Melanated Social Work.
Oh, cool.
As well as another group, or we had the Graduate Students of Color Association, just people of color from all over, and they were just doing dope work. And we all definitely became friends, and we became like a really great unit. And many of them we still talk, every once in a while now. I mean, if you have been to the city of Boston, you know it is very white. And often I was the only male and sometimes the only person of color in classes. And so when that happens, a lot of the white and non-white students kind of look to me for the black experience.
The voice of the black people. The voice of the
black people, because we're all one and I am that voice today.
Hear me. I bestow upon you.
This is what we, the black people, think about this issue.
So real.
And, talking to the other men of color, which, I mean, in social work, there were maybe a handful. I could probably count on 2 hands the number of male social workers of color at Boston College that I graduated with. And we had very similar experiences. And through talking and doing the work, we also had different perspectives on how to help our clients out. And it differed from the theories that we learned in school, and it was more like grounded on like reality and what we've experienced. And so after graduation, we went our separate ways, but we still kind of kept in contact. I remember having a professor saying something. It was a session she had. It was what to know before you go. And she said, stay in contact with other social workers. Even if you don't live in the same area, just stay in contact, because that'll be a good support. And I kind of said, damn, it would be nice if not only I stayed in contact with other social workers, but they were all men, and then men of color.
Yeah.
And so we started, Michael, Josh, Jesse, and myself, we already had formed a friendship. And then we started Skyping, and it was just to check in with each other. It was just to see how we were doing, how work was going, how life was going. So it was just a little slice of Boston College that we could do every other week or whatever it was at that time. Nice. And Josh, I think it was half the idea after seeing a picture of us, like, we're all melanated, we're all social workers, melanated social work.
Done.
And we're like, okay. And at first we were just like, it was going to be just like a hobby, right? Just like, okay, we'll start this little Instagram page and like, whatever, cool. And I remember when we started it, we were just like, we're probably going to have like 10 followers and 4 of them will be us. And then now we're at nearly 7,000 followers, and
counting.
And counting.
By the time this comes out, you'll have the blue check mark already.
Yeah, we want that check. We want that verified. And then we thought, what if we come up with a podcast? Like, we have a unique voice. We're 4 men of color in a predominantly white female field, and we see things a little bit differently. And we, thought about topics, we thought about what people maybe wanted to hear, and then the Melanated Social Work podcast was born.
Wow.
So it is wild, just the number of, just the love that we're getting from people. Just people from people that are doing social work all over the world, really. And what's cool about the system that we're using is that it shows where people are listening from. And so it shows like the big cities like Philadelphia or New York, but then it shows like Nebraska as having like 2 plays, or like London having like 5 plays. And it's just like, whoa, people from London are listening to our podcast. Like, it's crazy. Now what we kind of, really want to push is mental health in Black and brown communities. And mental health in all communities, really, but mental health specifically in Black and brown communities, because I don't know if you had the same experience, but my parents were not really about therapy. A lot of Black parents and families are like, God can fix it, or just
pray on it,
or just hush hush, and Jesus can help it, and that's it. That's all you need.
Well,
and Jesus can help.
Yeah,
I don't want to say he cannot.
Yes, yeah. For me, it's like, yes, I am a Christian. I do believe in the power of God, and I do believe in getting comfort from God's word. I also believe in the power of speaking to a mental health professional and just really working through what I'm going through, even if I don't feel like I'm suffering from anything clinical. Like, it's still so valuable.
Yeah. God created therapists. So
amen.
So come see me if you need it.
Therapists are the boat that is trying to save you from drowning.
We want it to be normalized. Like, we want people to say, yes, I said this to my therapist and it was really helpful. Or like, damn, I can't wait to tell my therapist this. And we, openly talk about our experiences in therapy, currently and in the past, what worked, what didn't, and our, experiences as therapists. And that's actually what episode 3 of our podcast is about, is us as therapists and if we think that therapy is necessary, for therapists and then just in general. So it's a really cool episode. So I also do some private therapy with the Radical Therapy Center in West Philadelphia. So that is...
Okay, sorry. I'm just... Don't mind me.
Now that you've said it once, you're no longer allowed to say it.
Okay.
That is a therapy center who prioritizes people with marginalized identities. So the LGBTQ community, people of color, immigrants, those people historically have not had spaces specifically made for them. And so that space is created, made for them.
Nice.
And we let them know this. Like this, you're not a guest here. This space was legit made for you.
Awesome.
And we have food for folks. We have snacks. We play music. Like it's a very different vibe than your traditional therapy.
Cool.
Center, hospital office, whatever you want to say.
I've had people who are like first generation college graduates who are just like, oh my gosh, like I've been losing hope. Like I don't really know what to do. And I see your videos and I feel like I have like a sense of direction.
Okay.
So like it's highly likely that there's someone in that same boat who's looking at you and saying like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
And like here they are just like telling me what to do.
Right.
So like at a high level I think it'd be great.
Okay.
I don't think we have to go like into like, I don't know, like how many essay revisions you did or anything like that. Unless it was like a key point in your life. But,
that essay was quick and dirty. I was just like, this shit up.
Accept me, please.
I don't want to be here in this job anymore, please.
That's like the greatest thing about grad school, though. Grad school is like this, like, I don't know, it's like a pod ejection from a crappy job in a sense, where it's just like, time to reset. Press this button.
Right.
I'm going to pursue a different path
right.
and leverage education to do that.
And they actually want you in grad school. I feel like in social work school, they want you to succeed. Like they want you to pass. And a lot of professors make themselves available for you to be like, come into my office hours. Like,
right.
I want you to do well, because especially in social work, like nobody wants a bad social worker out in the field. So it's like, we want you to do well.
Okay, social worker is not okay. Not sponsored.
And so for folks, that are thinking about going to grad school, like do the research. Like if you need to go to grad school, then go to grad school. But sometimes you don't need to go to grad school, and you can do very well with not just a bachelor's, but with a bachelor's degree and job experience. There's nothing wrong with that. I think for me in the field of social work, and I wanted to be a therapist. And so in therapy, obviously you need some type of higher education.
Right.
And so that was the route that I wanted to go. I think the process for applying to grad school was very interesting. I'm again coming from Oakland, California, moving to Boston. So know the city that you're about to go to, because I remember calling and just asking about financial aid, and he's the director or dean or whoever it was saying, oh, you can bring a car out here. The snowplows will make it free. And I was like, what the hell is a snowplow?
Yeah.
And I was just like, and very soon I knew what a snowplow was and why they were essential.
That's Californians just branching out, buying jackets.
Yeah, coats and like a scarf. I didn't even.
Wow.
Why would I need a scarf? But another thing is call the university. Look at multiple universities to see what they're going to offer you, to see if they're inclusive, if you have a marginalized identity. See how strong their programs are. Typically schools have rankings. I know for the School of Social Work there are rankings, and University of Michigan,
who's number one?
Ann Arbor is number one in social work.
Go Blue.
At the time, Boston College I think was number 5 or 6, so still top 10, which was decent.
Great.
I like how you're saying, great, but we're still number one though.
No. But like honestly, like rankings
Yeah.
are like they should be a small part of your consideration set.
Right.
Obviously, you don't want to go to someone who's last place if you have options.
Right, absolutely.
So
make sure you research as many schools as you can realistically see yourself going to. Learn about the cities. If it's a city that you would have fun in, if you like the city, if you want to be close to a beach, if you want to be hiking, like think about your quality of life, how much it is to live there, because you're gonna, if you do decide to move and not stay with family or friends, you will need to look at housing and look at rent and just cost of living, and if you have a car. So all of these things you have to take into account, because you have to think school isn't the only thing that you're going to do. You're going to live in the city now too.
Right.
Something that I also did was I became an RA. And so
Yes.
my first year I had roommates. My second year my housing, a room and board was taken care of, which was lovely.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And it was cool because being an RA is kind of like being a social worker too, because you're helping out, your residents, helping them connect to different resources on campus. You get a meal plan, which is clutch.
Yes.
And it's a really good it's a cool experience to just be in a community where you're helping people, and then you have other RAs who are also helping you, which is really great.
You bring up a really good point about just using whatever experience that you're in to the service of the future that you're trying to create for yourself.
Yeah.
Like looking for those opportunities to say like, oh, it's not like, oh no, I have to be an RA. It's like, oh, actually, like I'm actually practicing the skills I need in order to be a great social worker. This is actually in service of the future that I'm trying to create.
So connecting to resources, advocacy, conflict resolutions, all of those
All of them.
things, and just learning how to make connections with people. Because in social work, it's a lot about how the person feels about you.
Right.
And so if you don't come off as a good person or a nice person or someone that'll actually like go to bat for them, they're not going to connect with you as strongly as someone that would. And so that, definitely honed my skills to being a social worker as well. It was great. It kind of fit all together perfectly for me. If you're a person of color looking in social work, you are needed. And
Seriously.
do not believe the hype that you will not make money. A lot of social workers make a very good living, especially if you are in the hospital field, if you're in the education field. Nonprofits are hit or miss. With nonprofits, you kind of have to, you're always funded by a grant or some larger entity is funding, and you have to constantly hit your numbers and prove that things are going to be working out for you. So things like places like hospitals, schools, and really established entities are better to go in, because like you're pretty much guaranteed that institution is going to be there. But not to take away from the nonprofits as well, because you're doing a lot of important work with nonprofits. You're on the ground, you're working with people. You might get some skills about learning grant writing. You might be in those meetings with executives, and that's essential as well. So not to downplay nonprofits, but just choose whatever's right for you. Sorry. Men of color, you are needed in this field, and it is essential. I work in a school right now, and a lot of the black boys need a man of color to work with and to connect with and to look up to. And also with my adult clients, there's something nice about sitting across the room from somebody that looks like you and speaks like you, and you don't have to over explain. I had a lot of white female therapists who were good. Don't get me wrong, they were very good, but I had to do some over explaining. There are some assumptions I think that were made by them, and it's just like, well, that's not really what I mean. And then it kind of shaped the therapy. Whereas with a man of color, when I had a female therapist of color, it was so much easier. It was so much easier because she understood. She was like, yep, I got it. And it's just like, yes, finally. And it is such a great feeling to know, to see yourself in your clients. I see myself in my clients a lot, but to know what they're going through and to be that person that truly understands and knows how to get them through it. So men of color in this field, do it. Come, you know what you can do? Is you can go to Melanated Social Work on Instagram. You can email us, melanatedsocialwork@gmail.com. And also you can look up the Radical Therapy Center as well. Because again, myself, Khalida, and Sonali, Sonali's the fat sex therapist on Instagram. She's all about body positivity. Khalida is just one of the dopest humans I've ever met in my life. So we're doing a lot of great work. Check us out.
Awesome. And now I'll turn the conversation to you. What was your favorite part of this conversation? And let me know, what would you do if money were not an option? Answer those questions, leave it in the comment below. And if this video was helpful for you, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.
Men of color, you are needed in this field.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it one more time.
One more
Men
again.
of color.
Wait, what does Beyonce say? Like it's wearing on you. Anyway, keep going.
She's the queen. It was probably
You know,
fantastic.
she's like, I get no days off. I get no days off. I'm saying it again. Anyway.
I don't know that song. But